This week's episode of This Is My Bourbon podcast is dedicated to the legendary, unmatched, and dearly missed Anthony Bourdain.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Is My Bourbon podcast, where we discuss the spirit of Kentucky. My name is Perry, and we have some special guests with us today. I'm going to start with those who are joining us as returning guests. Dad.
Hey, Perry. How are you? Hey, everybody.
Hey, doing great.
Darn glad to be back.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
Little brother Dane.
What's up?
Dane has a very interesting approach to the mic. He likes to get in real close and then speak.
No.
And then I brought two buddies along, both from the Carolina Whiskey Society. Our good friends, Chris and Bryan. Guys, welcome to Kentucky.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Welcome.
Yeah, we were having a blast so far. It's good to be here. Good to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we had a good day today. We went on a Buffalo Trace pick. We shared. Well, you all are sharing that pick with a store out of Fort
Lauderdale, Florida.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you all did a pick earlier this year as well that I really, really liked. It was.
Did I try it?
Yeah.
I tried it, didn't I?
Yeah. I opened it.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was delicious.
It was super memorable, apparently. No, I really like that pick. I think that we had something else really good today, too. So we'll keep you all updated on when that's available, especially for those who are listening in the Florida region. I don't really know what our listenership's like down there, but, you know.
It's going
we'll keep you all
to
posted.
increase.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, after this pick, it'll blow up.
So, as we like to do on the show, of course, we love to drink.
Responsibly.
And today is a good example of that and something really different. We've never done just a straight blind of everybody on the show before. So I brought something to blind Chris and Bryan with, and they each brought something to blind me with, too. And Dad and Dane are going to have a couple of these pours as well. So...
It isn't.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, cool.
This is Chris, by the way.
This is Chris. Let's identify voices first. Chris?
Chris.
And Bryan?
That's me.
And Dane? No.
Everybody pour a little bit.
Daddy-o.
Yeah, so just to give a little background on this one, this is one that's been sitting in the back of my cabinet for a while. Every time I revisit it, it intrigues me. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I haven't loved it so much.
Interesting.
So I thought, why not bring it to get some other feedback?
I have some like that, too, that's just like, ugh.
Is it the Whiskey River?
No. I don't want to spoil it.
Thank you, Chris. It's got a very, honey color to it so far. I'm off the mic right now, but...
It does have a honey color.
Yep,
to it.
very specifically so. The nose is really...
Legs.
The nose is really sweet.
Yeah, much sweeter than I've gotten in the past.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's kind of earthy, too. I wouldn't say it's super high proof.
Have you tried this, Bryan, before?
I don't think so.
Or have you?
Dun, dun, dun. Brian's going to find out.
I've got my cheat sheet with all my
Oh, okay.
on it, so.
Okay, I will say I don't like the front end of the palate as much as I do the back end. Is it an Old Forester birthday bourbon?
I don't want to spoil it. I could give you hints. Probably not.
Okay. That's what it reminds me of, with that kind of chemically taste to it that I think is pretty prevalent on Old Forester birthday bourbons. But
What do you think?
I don't know. Dane's not sure. Dad, what do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I agree with you on the front and back end part.
Yeah. There's something kind of bitter about it on the front end, I
Yeah,
think.
the back's significantly better.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not super crazy about the finish. I think the finish is mostly heat and just kind of earthy or grassy, I think. I don't know. It's very odd.
Yeah, this is different.
Mhm.
It really is.
So if you had to guess on like stats, numbers, age, proofage,
I'm thinking it's
Maybe
about
mash
a
bill?
one between like a 105 and a 115.
You think it's that high? I would say it's more in the 90 to 95 range.
Do you?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm off then.
Well, you might be.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's under 100.
Okay. Well,
I would say it. I don't think it's.
outvoted.
I don't think it's incredibly old either. I wouldn't say it's more than like 10 years old. A bird definitely just ran into the window. By the way. Brian turned around as soon as it happened.
Guess I know what I'll be cleaning up in a little bit.
I do not like the nose on it though.
see the nose out of the rocks glass is much better than the nose I've gotten out of a Glencairn.
Yeah.
It's
I wonder what it's like out of like a Norland glass.
Yeah.
If only there were a way to find out, but there's currently no way to do that. But
Yeah, this reminds me of all the previous notes I've picked up. I've never been a big fan of it. I think I had it once where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is delicious.
it almost reminds me of Long Branch. Yeah, like it has that sweetness that the mesquite charcoal
Still a
filter.
smokiness to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily a great smoky.
No, I don't think so either. Dane doesn't seem to be terribly happy with this.
No, it's not bad. I mean, I'm also used to drinking Benchmark, and
Well, that's
Yeah,
true.
no, so.
That's true. Dane is
I'm on a budget.
Dane is this episode's baby bourbon boy. So
Can I ask how old you are?
22.
22.
A little nervous over there. Most people
Chris
tell me
is-
I'm like 18.
We in the episode that we did down at the beach that Dane was not
Yeah.
part of, Sarah, their sister, who's just turned 20, did not partake. And
Yes.
but she just hung
So,
out with us.
she just hung
Yeah, I
out.
remember that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So
this is an interesting.
What about mash bill? You think?
I would say it's high corn because I think the sweetness
Yeah.
on it is a product of the corn. Bye, Dane.
Come on out of the corner, son.
It has spice, so I would say it's a rye mash bill for sure. I mean, it doesn't have that smooth sweetness of a wheated bourbon, but I've also been proven wrong on that before too. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I don't love this one. but-
Age-wise, is it? I mean, it feels young to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
So are we gonna reveal at the end?
yeah. Let's reveal at the end. Yeah. So I'm going to vote that Brian goes next then, since we're, guest first, I guess.
I like to come out of the gate and set the bar somewhat low.
Chris is really looking out for us here on this episode. Okay. Oh, it's Brian with a Y.
that is true.
Not that I would have been able to tell just by talking to you or anything.
Right.
It's not like you pronounce Brian with a Y
I'm
different
not
than
the guy
Brian
that
with
spells
an A.
my name every time you say
Yeah.
it. So.
Brian.
Dane's
Dane's
out.
tapping out.
Dane,
Great to meet you all.
welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
To the door.
So,
Dane's had one glass of bourbon. Bye, Dane.
The first one was so
That's
bad. I
family.
ran him off.
That's family time. We just. So, how did it change for you this time compared to when you've had it the last time?
For the most
Is it
part,
still not your favorite?
pretty similar. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
When I got this one, I'll say this: I wanted to absolutely love it, and I kept revisiting it,
Trying.
it, and
Yeah.
just never grew on me, unfortunately.
I cleaned mine out.
You know what? I'm just going to pass it around so you guys can pour. It's easier for me to do that than. All right, well, we're off to a cracking start here.
The extras I brought as backup should be significantly better.
Well, Chris, why didn't you bring that out first?
Well, I guess I suppose I should have.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. I'm pumped for this, whatever this is. It smells good. Well, maybe not. I don't know. The nose is kind
The
of...
nose is good.
It's a very standard nose for me. I don't think that it has anything like particularly significant that jumps out for me, but...
I'm getting a lot of floral notes.
and definitely a lot of earthy grassiness to it as well. It almost smells like right after it rains. Like the smell that grass gets.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
Yeah.
Or the smell after a bird hits the window.
Is that dinner?
Gotta hope not.
The first time I went to my wife's family's house, her mom's from Owenton, Kentucky, which is about...
Near Frankfurt.
Yeah, it's about an hour outside of Louisville, half hour outside of Frankfurt.
Okay.
There was a groundhog out in the backyard, and her grandfather went out, and he shot it first, and then he had his foot down on it, and shot it again, and he picks it up and carries it back to the garage, and he looks at me and he goes, "Dinner."
Just straight-faced.
Oh, no, I mean, he was a very deadpan man. I like, pretty much believed him, and anyway, interesting sidebar for you.
No,
there.
no groundhog should ever be consumed. Never.
Ever.
All right, let's take a dive into this one. I'm curious.
I'd say that's a lower proof too.
I would say it's
If I'm all wrong, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my guess is hovering around 100, maybe a little
I was going to say I don't think it's any higher than 100 proof. There's something really familiar about it that I can't quite put my finger on, and it almost tastes like it's a pick of something. Like it almost tastes like an Elijah Craig pick. Because it has a lot of the Elijah Craig baked goodsiness to it that I really like, but there's something a little bit extra to it that I'm not quite able to place. I don't know if it's like the mustiness or the earthiness from the nose.
Brian has a smile on his face. You guys can't see it.
A wry smile. Hey, a wry smile. Get it?
There we go.
Hey. Yeah. Sorry. It's been a long day. We've had a lot of bourbon so far. It tastes older. It tastes older than what Chris brought, I would say.
Is this something that you've had for a while that you go back to, or is it new, or
This is a regular for me.
it's a regular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have multiple bottles of it? I'm trying to decide.
Would Chris be able to figure out what this is based on 20 questions?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a fun game.
The nose and the palate don't seem to match up.
I agree. The nose is significantly more earthy, I think, just kind of in general. And I think that the nose has a little bit more heat on it than the palate does, too. There's a really specific spiciness on the middle of the palate as well.
I'm trying to pinpoint distillery.
I know, I am too. Yeah, I definitely think that it hovers in that 100 proof range. But like it's not I wouldn't say it's like Henry McKenna. Because I think Henry McKenna is a little bit spicier than this, but I don't know.
It's got a great finish on it.
Yeah, it really does. Really, really does.
Your regular for a while was Special Reserve, but supposedly he's out of that. So maybe this was his last.
Well, you shouldn't have done that if this is your last of the
No, you wouldn't do that.
Special
Well,
Reserve.
it's not weed.
No, I know.
Now it does,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's too
definitely got a
spicy to be a
rye
weeder.
component.
Yeah.
Yeah. My regular could be one of 15 things. So
Well, sure, and it depends on what's mostly available too in North Carolina, but you know.
So not much.
yeah, unfortunately.
Do you all have trouble getting stuff like we do? Like we don't.
We don't get a whole lot of Weller.
I've never seen it on the shelf in North Carolina.
I've seen 107 once on the
Right.
shelf in North Carolina. It's a controlled state, and I don't know where they send it all, but it's not around Charlotte or Raleigh. So
They've stopped
seems-
putting it out on the shelves in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like it's usually behind the
shelf.
counter
Behind the counter.
or like in the back or something like that.
You guys probably have the folks that follow the trucks around in the mornings, right? And
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually good friends with one
Yeah?
of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, Swan.
Familiar with
Talking
him,
about
yeah.
him earlier about
Yeah,
him
we were.
doing that.
But I mean, he has the time to.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know, it helps those of us out that are still looking for it and
It's true.
everything too.
That's true.
Okay, so far my ranking is Brian's and then Chris's. Like I don't
Yeah.
think there's much of a competition here for
I'm
me.
the same way.
That's disappointing.
Hey, we got
I
you
would
back.
have to rank the same way.
You can't say it's disappointing and then go, but I agree with you.
I know. I wanted mine to stand up better so far, but
Sorry, man.
yeah.
Well, I didn't put mine in a sample bottle, so I'm gonna have to go into the laundry room.
Do I have to entertain him now? No, go ahead.
You don't have to sing or
So I'm not
anything.
going to. Hello.
What are you gonna do? Jeez.
I'm,
Is yours? Yeah, everybody's
clean.
tuned. All right, thank you.
so we'll talk a little bit about what we did today.
Yeah, talk about what happened today.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right. So just to give a little background, I think we already sort of briefly hit on this, but we were at Buffalo Trace. We did a pick. We went through 4 different barrels. I think, so we had 6 of us as a group. Consensus was 2 of them sort of stood out for everyone. Barrels number 3 and 4. And I think those 2 came in at a slightly higher proof.
Yeah,
Those
they
were
were.
at 129. The other 2 were at 127. It was pretty tough going down into it. We ended up going to a blind of the last 2. And I think the majority of us sort of flip-flopped going into it. We thought we loved 4 over 3. That's barrel number 4 over barrel number 3. But at the end, I think most of us leaned towards barrel number 3. But if I remember correctly, I think Perry's the only one that got it correct.
Yeah, I
Right?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was entirely convinced that the one we went with was barrel 4.
I
I
was
would put all
too.
my money on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I was
I
completely
was too. I
convinced.
thought it was going to be 4 as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Well, let me say why I thought that it was 3 instead of 4. 4 had this really like creaminess to it
thank you.
that coated the tongue more than 3 did. And 3, like from the time we first tried it all the way until that last sip, I consistently thought that it was a little bit light mouthfeel wise. Not that it was bad, but that to me is what helped me distinguish between the 2. Flavor wise, I think they were pretty similar. 3 was a little bit fuller than 4, but I was just like, yeah, I'm I'm almost certain I know what this is. But anyway, okay, so I just poured my blind for these guys.
It's got a sweet nose.
Yeah.
I love the nose on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the nose on this one than the first 2.
If you had to guess proof based on nose, what would you think?
I'm not guessing.
Dad's like, I'm out on
I mean,
this
just
one.
on nose,
Just on nose.
the 90s.
Okay.
I get a lot of honey, like lemon. Like lemons.
Mm-hmm.
for some
Yeah,
reason
there is a
pretty
really
pronounced.
citrusy scent on the nose as well.
A little bit of orange.
Now,
peel.
is this new in your arsenal too, or is this something that you?
Fairly new. Fairly new. Yeah.
Now I'm picking up maybe a little heat.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was at your place last.
No, I've had it since before then.
Okay.
Yep.
But I've not tried it.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure you have. You'll find out. Have you guys? Yeah?
Yeah, the palate's good.
Well.
I like that. Yeah, picking up more heat on the palate than the nose for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Yep.
The palate's still really sweet, like the nose is too. I don't get much of the citrus on the palate,
No, not at all.
as we were finding on the nose, but
It just continues to linger in the back of my tongue.
Not too much rye spice or anything to it, but okay.
Giving us hints, sort of leading us down the path.
I just want to see what you guys think before what would you guess the age would be? Stumped.
Say,
Flat out stumped, everybody.
8 to 10.
I was going to say the
Okay.
same thing.
I don't pick up a whole lot of oak or things I would traditionally get for something with
No.
a lot of age. There's a little bit of dryness, but not too much.
Like the mid palates where a lot of the dryness hangs
Yeah.
out for me. Some peanut butteriness too on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So any guesses as to what it might be, or
I mean, what it is, I'm not sure. Like it sort of has the Jim Beam profile to it.
sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would almost wonder if it's a Knob Creek pick.
sure.
It's not so peanut buttery to like point towards old granddad.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones in the 9 to 10 year range.
Right.
I feel like you get more when it gets to like 12, 13, 14-year-old picks.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Dad, any idea?
I haven't been too good picking things today, so
Does it taste familiar to you?
yeah, it tastes familiar to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we had this about 3 weeks ago.
You've had it before. I didn't want to.
No, I'm cool.
Didn't want to reveal too much, but yeah, you've had it before.
Yeah.
You've had it before.
Yeah, I'm starting to think there's more. It's a higher proof than I originally guessed.
Brian's not sure.
I think it's over 100.
Yeah, I'm
not,
guessing
not
105 to
Yeah,
110.
it's-
Sure.
Something like that.
Comparatively, what do y'all think?
Against the other two?
Yeah. Did I come out swinging, or did I?
Yeah, I would
Strike
probably
out?
put this one at the top.
Yeah, I think this one has the most going on. It's definitely the most complex. It's
Sure. What do we want to do here? Do we want to go for another blind? Do we want to reveal what we brought? Dad, do you want to blind us with anything?
Brian brought a second.
I have another
and I
one.
have two more that are labeled with what they are, but we could
Okay.
potentially blind. I think my two would be bigger hitters than the first one. I pulled.
Okay. Well, let's do two more of the blinds, and then we'll reveal our
Okay.
products that we brought on. I had something I was going to say, and I can't remember. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That nose is crazy different.
Oh God, he just coughed on me.
Sorry.
Or another bird
Man,
at the
it's-
window. I'm not really sure.
Man, it's really kind of like sugary on the nose.
I'm picking up a fair amount of heat.
Yeah.
That would sort of lights up the nostrils.
I have to agree with that, but there's something really sweet about it, too.
There's some heat from the nose,
it
is
burns
right.
the nostrils.
Yeah.
Is that Anchorman?
I have no
With
idea.
that cologne? Sex Panther.
Oh, yeah. 60% of the time?
Works.
60% of the time, it works every
Every
time.
time.
Yeah. Something's different about the...
I kind of get a smoky
Huh.
taste.
I do, too. Almost like a scotch. Did you bring a scotch with you?
Is this one finished?
Are you
I did not.
Are
bring
you
a
really
scotch.
trying to mess with us on this one?
Two very different samples.
Yeah. No kidding. I could see it being
Get a
finished.
little heat there towards the end too.
Yeah. Like on the very back end of the palate. Dad's having a revelation.
Get a fruity taste too.
Yeah. Mhm.
A guess on the proof?
Like a lemon or something like. No, I'm not guessing on the damn
Should-
thing.
you
I'm not sure what I
You should have brought that Peerless pick. All I get's barbecue chicken. with that Peerless.
Ugh. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm at like 115. This one feels. It's a little more.
I don't know. I think it kind of hovers around the 95 to 100 for me. But
I'd say it's another 8 to 12 year in the barrel too.
Brian's not giving away any secrets.
I'm
That's
glad
what's
I'm not
really
a poker
fun about
player
this.
because I could not play. Sit across the table from Brian.
He's played a lot of poker in his days.
Y'all are really stumping me today. I'll say that much.
I don't get so much age on the nose, but on the palate,
Yeah,
it
I
feels-
agree.
Definitely feels older.
Not quite like musty, dusty bottle,
No.
I would say. But, well, I only have a sip left, so I better make it count, but still. Sorry, there's some dryness to it, too, that made me make a face.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some, like, dry heat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big dry palate person, but I don't know. It's not bad. I like it. It's very different from
I like the fruity
a lot of
taste
things that I've
there
had.
at the end
Mhm.
with the smoky. I mean, I've had
Best scotch you've ever had right there.
Drinks like a bird.
Have you guys ever had Hartfield and Company? So they're a distillery out of Paris, Kentucky, which is about 30 minutes away from here.
shout out to my mom who lives in Paris, Kentucky.
Yeah, she's definitely listening right now. She's not. Absolutely not.
Does she ever listen?
No, she doesn't.
She's 87.
I don't think she's ever seen a computer in person before.
Yes, she has. She's been to the office.
Just kidding. Where can I watch those podcasts at?
Yes, that's what.
What time does the podcast come on
That's what
ABC?
that's what my mom asked me: is where can I watch the podcast? at?
Awesome. Good. I mean, eventually we're gonna start filming them too. So, you know, that's really funny though.
Well, you do the live. You do the live streams.
Doo doo. Sorry. No, yeah, I do the live streams too. But anyway, Hartfield and Company, their bourbon tastes more like a Scotch, and then their American whiskey tastes more like a bourbon.
I have been so tempted to go in there, and I mean, I still
Go
want to give
in,
them a
you may
little bit
as
more
well.
time.
Well, you may as well go in and get it and try it. You're right there. So one last
I
blind
like that
before we.
one.
Yeah,
I
I,
like
did too. It's very different.
I think I'd go Perry, Brian, Chris.
Brian 2 or Brian 1?
Brian too.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah, at this point, I would probably go Brian 2, Perry, Brian 1, and then way down the road, myself.
But we do have
Don't sell yourself short now, Chris. It's okay.
one more blind sample from Chris here though, which I'm excited for.
I'll have to cover this one up because
Okay.
I labeled this one.
We haven't talked about this one, have we?
We have not.
Okay.
I have to make sure I divvy it out.
Yeah, we'll hand you glasses so that
Thank you.
we don't reveal it to ourselves on accident.
Perry brought up the Whiskey River earlier on, and if
We
you
don't have to try whiskey.
no, hell no, we don't have to try it. But if you haven't listened to
That's good.
to episode 3, or was it the one that hasn't been released with Dane?
It's the one that hasn't been released with Dane yet, where we tried whiskey.
We
River.
tried Whiskey River. It is god awful, and
The
the
one-
only reason I got it was for the guitar pick.
Hey, shout out to Willie Nelson, by the way. He was in the hospital
Oh wow!
recently. Do you not know this?
No,
He had to cancel the show.
Willie.
He was on stage and he had to leave.
Was he in Charlotte? He walked off the stage.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
show Charlotte,
that's where it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I hope he's okay.
He like picked up his guitar and put it right back down and had to leave and go to the hospital. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the man's as old as the hills, so.
for the hills. Bad joke.
Oh, that Mary Jane.
Awful joke.
Hello.
Now, this, again, is kind of a very, like... It almost is kind of a standard bourbon nose to it. Like, it's very pleasant and good, but...
Yeah, it's one I feel like
I
like I know this.
Like you've had it before.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't ask you, Brian, so I'm going to go back to yours real fast. Was that one that you've had for a while as well, or is that something that you just
Fairly
stumbled
recent
upon?
acquisition?
I'll ask Chris the same thing.
I've had it. I don't go to it often, but I've had it for a little while.
It's a surprise.
Okay.
Celebration pour.
What about with this one? For you, Chris.
Is
So
that
this
gonna
one
give it away?
is a
Gonna give it
relatively new acquisition.
Okay.
That might definitely give it away, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. But I love it. I haven't had it long, but
I'm going to say this is a trick. I think this is a trick pour. I think this is a higher proof that is being masked by its overall quality. Like, even though it should be hotter, I don't think that it's going to be, despite the proof. You don't think it is? Really?
what makes you think that?
I don't know. It has this really smooth, round quality that doesn't seem to be agitated or influenced by water. I mean, I would almost say it's a barrel proof, honestly. I don't know. It just tastes very full and very like.
I kind of go with the barrel proof too. I kind of hit a little bit more of an oaky taste there at the end.
For sure.
Young, old.
No, I think it's older.
I think it's older.
I would put it anywhere from like 6 to 8 years, I think.
Brian, this one at all familiar?
Yeah, I feel like I know this one.
I kind of feel like it's pretty familiar too, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. It's not like an Elijah Craig barrel proof.
No. It doesn't punch you in the face like that.
No.
I had some of that the other night.
Yeah?
Punched me in the face.
Yeah.
Right in between the eyes.
It's a good nightcap.
Yeah, I was over in Europe 2 weeks ago, and I saw Elijah Craig, the old bottles, barrel proof all over the place. So I grabbed one of the 136 proof.
Nice.
Myself.
Nice. I think I've had that one before.
We
I cannot
very
wait to
good.
crack it.
Yeah.
We had 131 that we found in outside of Charleston.
The C917.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I had the A118 the other night.
Did you like
Did
it?
you
too?
like that?
Loved it.
So we had a whiskey night. When was it?
You guys didn't like it?
No. So it was a fresh
Okay.
It was
crack.
a fresh crack.
Okay.
And
It just it lit us all up. Like it was delicious, but there was just so much heat on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
That luckily we had it at the very end because we did them in sequence. The 3 from last year and then the most recent from 2018. And
Did you have a clear-cut winner between the 4?
I think most people preferred the B517, but it wasn't unanimous. There were
Sure.
probably 8 people there. 5 of the 8 like the B517. The others like the C from last year.
I haven't had the A
C917.
from last year yet.
That's my personal favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I regret not picking up more when I saw it on the shelf. I bought backups of all the others, but not that one.
Sure. I never
that.
saw the.
Yeah.
I never saw last year's A on the shelf, ever. I mean, it just didn't seem to hit this area.
Yeah, I
for
saw a
whatever
bunch
reason.
in one county over, and at the time had no idea. Like, it's barrel proof. Let me just grab one, and then I never went back to that store. Unfortunately.
You know what's funny is I'm starting to get more of the barrel influence on the
think
nose.
I am too.
The more I smell it, the more it smells like a rick house, for some reason.
Yeah, it smells just like walking in.
Yeah,
one.
which it leads more credence to my theory that it might be a barrel proof pour, but.
This one's like maybe knocked your number one Chris off, or
Just-
Brian off of the
Yeah.
list down a little bit.
This is this ain't bad.
Yeah,
This ain't bad at
I
all.
like this one,
Yeah.
but I could be slightly biased.
I have to ask this before I forget. Do you guys listen to the podcast at home?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so wow,
Yeah, every day it comes out when I get to work.
that is
Every Wednesday.
fantastic.
Yeah. And bonus episodes too, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I thought the one that they released Wednesday was one of the best ones that they put out.
Well, thank you. And that was the
multiple shout outs, which I really appreciate.
that was the barrel proof episode.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was
it's a lot of fun.
that was really
Yeah, I like the one with the Wilderness Trail review that you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was one of my favorite things I think we've had on the show so far.
Yeah.
Has been the Wilderness Trail, and we've had some pretty good response from that too.
that's good.
Man, I really like this one. Yeah. Well, do we want to go around and reveal our order, or no? Maybe.
I mean, I'll reveal mine.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Can I be biased and put mine like towards the top?
You can do whatever you want to, man.
It's your show right now.
My show.
You have the floor.
Well, if I had to pick, I would say the most recent one of mine, I would put number 1. Then
Chris too.
Brian 2, Perry, Brian 1, then myself at the bottom.
I'm in full agreement with that.
I check on that.
Brian, though?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could mix it up for the show, but that would also be my order. So
Well, we've been consistent all day.
Yeah, we
that's
may as well
true.
continue
Let's
it. I
continue
mean,
it,
That's
so-
true.
yeah. Okay, who wants to reveal first then? Do we want to go
bottom to
up?
top.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go bottom up. So,
Bottom up.
So
All right.
yeah.
the unanimous last.
So I had to write
place.
down my statistics in my notebook.
Okay.
So my first blind was an OKI
that's why I couldn't really place it, because I've...
reserve pick. It's a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Sourced, it's out of the New Riff Distillery
Right.
in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Proofage is 40, so at ABV 48.9%.
So that puts it in the 90...
Yeah, just a little less than 100
Yeah.
proof.
So I was way off.
And that one's a high rye mash, so it's 35% rye.
And that explains some of the spice
Yeah,
that we were getting
yeah.
to on the middle to back end of it.
And it's non-chill filtered, so I could pick up a little bit of the oiliness.
Yeah.
oiliness.
Yeah. I
So-
see that too.
Yeah, Brian got this one for me, God, over a year ago, I think. Or,
Yeah. Well,
No, I got it for myself during the bachelor party here, though.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I can see why you fight with that.
Yeah.
I can
do
see
too.
why you go back and forth, because, if we poured some now, we might have, just like what we went through this morning.
Right.
We could go through, something completely different. So I can understand the sparring with it. So
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bottle sitting up on the shelf, and
And it's just that. It's just a
just
shelf
tears me up.
trophy.
Yeah,
Lots of times there's not good things in beautiful bottles.
I have many examples of that.
Brian, what about your first blind?
My first blind was actually Heaven Hill bottled in bond. So
Really?
When you
Yeah.
said you were picking up Elijah Craig type notes,
Yeah.
or flavors. I mean,
I mean, that is
Yeah,
not far off
that's not
then.
far off.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
huh.
But it's not available to us in the Carolinas. But I always grab a bottle when I'm here in Kentucky.
Take a
and-
case home with you.
Yeah, it's.
As
It
many
was,
as you can fit in your suitcase.
It was my wife's idea to put it in the blind. And
That's
I said,
really
Wow.
interesting.
So-
Shout out to Brian's wife then,
Yeah.
because,
And they're 8-month-old.
Yeah, yes.
I always talk so highly of it. And like this time,
But you said there was something familiar about it. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't
You've
quite
been
find
all
it.
over it for a while.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And I mean, I knew that it was something that I'd had before, and what's funny is I just had it like 2 days ago. So it's weird that I wasn't able to.
Fresh in your mind. Son.
Yeah, apparently so. Okay, are you guys ready for mine?
Yes.
All right.
As he rubs his hands.
for the grand
Oh, he's-
reveal.
Dun-dun.
Mine was the Knob Creek pick that I was on.
Brian got it.
This is the 14-year pick that came out of the barrel at 121 proof and is bottled at 120.
Nice.
Wow.
So an almost
They
barrel
didn't
proof
proof it down that
release
much.
Yeah.
of a Knob Creek single barrel.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought I picked up some of the Jim P. nuttiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I said anything about it being nutty or peanut
you said the
buttery,
peanut butter-
that was what I
just
knew.
triggered.
As soon as I said that, it was going to set
Yeah.
set those sensors off
Yeah.
too. But okay, who was number 2? Brian
My
again?
second one
Yeah.
was the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. The
Nice.
Nice.
The 127.5. I think that was their 5th release.
Yeah.
I think.
Wow.
I think so too.
I did not
Dude, thank
think
you.
that was barrel proof.
That was so good.
I didn't really think it
Oh.
was either. I think the only thing that would have indicated it was the heat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
then, it was like debatable.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good one.
No, I'm punching myself for not acting quicker on that online sale up in Pennsylvania the other day.
I saw
Don't do that. Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I always say, Barry?
You can't be upset about what you don't have.
There you go.
Right, Dad?
That's right.
Yeah, all right. All right, so our number one blind pour.
Do you think you know what it was?
You go ahead and reveal it, but I have a feeling I've definitely had it before.
All right. So this is the Joseph A. Magnus cigar blend, batch number 8.
No freaking way.
That was just released earlier this year.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, batch number 8. This was bottle 357 of 545. So there were 545 bottles total.
Wow.
Came in at 56.41% ABV.
No kidding.
So it was a blend of 11 and 18-year whiskeys.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Finished in Armagnac, sherry, and cognac casks.
Jeez.
Wow.
That was really good, man.
Yeah.
It's very good.
That was surprisingly good. And like I've always heard really good things about that cigar blend, but I mean, I'm pretty sold on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's legit. We
Yeah.
So we both cracked. We both got one, and we cracked them the night. So I guess Wednesday evening before we came
Yeah?
out, and were blown away.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Super excited.
Would you have guessed it was that, Brian?
What
did you have an inkling?
No, I could not put my finger exactly on it because I knew I'd had it before, and I knew it in my mind. It was a top shelf pour, and it was just like you said. It was so full. There's so much flavor
Yeah.
to it. I couldn't. It was. I mean, I just had it 2 nights ago, and I knew I'd had it, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But
Wow.
Yeah.
it's
My goodness.
good.
And for it to be-
really is.
E.H. Taylor barrel proof, too. I mean, I thought that they were pretty close seconds, or close for
Yeah.
the first place spot,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
I'm pretty blown away by that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw out a question to Brian. Of the two, so the special release that we had from Jose Magnus, and this one, do you have a preference? Which one do you prefer or like a little better? Because there's another special release that they did at the end of 2017 that I picked up on New Year's Day.
Okay.
That was finished in, I would butcher the name, but like a wine cask. Pinot something.
Pinot Noir.
No.
Jinx.
I would look it up, but it's some fancy.
For me, the
wine.
cigar blend is better. Not taking away anything from the other one, but this blend is just from top to bottom. It's awesome. It just is, and there's so much flavor to it, and it really felt like a top shelf pour.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah,
going
absolutely.
to a restaurant, and you look at the menu and they've got the $60 for an ounce, like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And
No,
too.
I agree.
The other one was delicious. They're doing some really cool things at Magnus, but
Mhm.
I mean this release of the cigar blend I think is amazing.
You know
It
what's
really
funny
is.
too is like as we were drinking it, I was going, "This would actually go really well with a cigar."
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to sample it with one.
Yeah, for sure. Shoot, man, I really just completely blown away by how good that was, and the fact that I even had it, because like it was always one of those that's kind of like just been a hair out of my reach, where I've been like I could, but there's
Better
this,
not,
that, or
yeah.
this, that, or the other, and I was like,
Yeah, we're lucky that
Oh,
we're
man.
relatively close to DC. It's about a 4-hour drive from
Sure.
where I'm at.
I have my brother-in-law
So
lives
accessible.
there, so he actually picked these bottles up for us and shipped them down to me. So it was people helping people.
Absolutely. That's good.
Yeah, it's a pricey bottle, but worth every penny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. Well, I think that about does it for that part of the
Yeah.
the show. We normally move into tips and bits here, which is our recommendation segment. Do you guys have any tips and bits for this
Let
episode?
the guests go first.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
you want to go first? Or
Go
me?
for it.
All right. Tips and bits. So I did a little bit of thinking about this on the airplane. Sorry. Yes. So
I just pulled out the Wilderness Trail bottle
Yeah.
for us to try
yeah.
too.
So these days I'm listening to more podcasts than music, but the past week or so there's a band that some friends and I are big big fans of American Aquarium. Their new album came out this morning, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it
geez.
yet.
American Aquarium.
American Aquarium.
Okay.
They're out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right.
B.J. Barnum is the lead singer. So I've been listening to their music, old albums leading up to this
How
trip.
long have they been around?
Oh, been around probably about 10 years.
Have they?
I don't
Okay.
remember exactly how long, but yeah.
I look
Early
forward to
2000s.
listening to them.
They're great.
Okay.
It's a blend of country and rock and roll music. They're great.
Check them out.
They're
for
sort
sure.
of derived from like red dirt country.
I love
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's see. So I do a lot of reading these days. So on my recent trip over to Europe, I finished up a couple of books. One is by Karen Slaughter called Good Girls. She's a crime novelist out
Oh,
of
yeah, I've heard of that
Atlanta,
book.
Georgia.
Heard of that book.
And I absolutely love all of her stuff. This new book sort of blew my mind
Mhm.
significantly better than anything else she's put out. And also Freelance to Freedom. It's a book all about sort of establishing yourself as a freelance artist, freelance journalist, freelance engineer, sort of building your own career, sort of developing all of that so that you can be financially independent.
Well, I need to read that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes, you do.
It's by an author named Vincent Pugliese. Pugliese, I think
Okay.
is how you pronounce his last name. And it's not so much like an outline of how to do it, but it's his story on how he went from working for the man all the way up to him and his wife working for themselves as photographers.
Cool.
Photographers.
Photographers?
Photographers.
It's
Yeah.
brand new.
I'm just
Fists
combining
of
things right now.
photographers. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. My wife and I just finished Jessica Jones on Netflix.
Nice.
Heard it's
A Marvel
very good.
show.
It is
Yeah.
very good.
I'm typically not a big Marvel fan, but this show sort of blew my mind.
Yeah.
I love Kirsten Ritter. The premise of the show was great.
Our fourth cousin.
That's our fourth cousin. Yeah.
Is it?
No, not really. I was telling people that for a long time.
You almost
though.
had me
Yeah.
I see the resemblance. No.
No, yeah. That's interesting since Dad's adopted.
Yes, I am. I really am. It's the truth.
Anyway, yeah, Jessica Jones is really good.
Yeah.
Like the first season of Daredevil was really good, and then that first Jessica Jones season was good too. And like everything else has just kind of been like, meh.
Yeah, the second season was pretty good, but the first episode,
I've actually
first season.
I've not seen the second season of
Yeah.
Jessica Jones yet. But anyway, Brian, what about you, man?
Oh man, kind of. That's a lot right there. I don't know. Piggybacking on your TV show there, my wife and I just started watching a show called 13 Reasons Why on Netflix.
Okay,
And there's
yeah.
some. I'm not going to dive too deep into it because everything is lighthearted right now. in
Yeah,
this
it's some heavy
conversation.
topics.
It is
there.
some heavy topics,
Yeah.
but it's real world topics.
Yeah,
and I think
for
it's
sure.
important. So yeah, so anybody has a chance to check it out, and especially those with kids. I've got an 8-month-old, so I won't be crossing that bridge anytime soon. But some real world stuff going on.
Sure.
And, something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Dad, what about you?
Will. I started rewatching season 3 of Twin Peaks again. After, those that know me know what a Twin Peak junkie I am. And I even though we know how it ended, we've read all the dossiers that they sent out afterward, it's so cool to go back, find things that you haven't seen. And I was telling Perry a couple of little things that I caught when I was watching episode 4 last night. Just a fantastic. David Lynch is amazing, and it's just fantastic shows. If you haven't seen any of the shows, go back. I have a formula that I go through when I do it. Go back and watch the first 2 seasons. Watch Fire Walk with Me, and then watch the 3rd season, and then go back. I'm listening to different music. I've been listening to Cheap Trick a lot more because I think they're one of the greatest American rock and roll bands ever. They're amazing.
Dad's a big Cheap Trick fan. Big Cheap Trick.
They are an amazing rock and roll band.
I can't say I know too much about them, unfortunately.
Start from the beginning.
All the way back at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, there's like any band that's been around for 40 years or however long they've been around. There's a lull in there, but they're making great music again. Their first 4, 5, 6 albums are incredible, and that takes away the Budokan live album. It's good, but it's nothing like Heaven Tonight or Dream Police.
Okay.
So, Cheap Trick.
Went over my head a little bit there. But
You've got
listeners will
Spotify,
follow.
don't you?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. My first tips and bits. Never mind. Tip and bit. That sounds weird.
Be careful.
Goes to a good one of our favorite movies, Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona.
I've been meaning to revisit it for
As
a
in
while.
Two Swing.
I don't love Nicolas Cage, but this is, I think, his best movie. I think he's just phenomenal in it. It's really fun. Like, it's a comedy. It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Or newer?
Yeah, it's from 89 or 90.
It's from earlier than that, I think. I think it's like 88.
Okay. Well, it's older.
As
It predates me.
as a dad,
Here's our segment as a dad.
it's very funny. I mean, you'll like as a dad, as a family person,
Right.
because it's got a lot of funny stuff.
It's really bizarre too. Like, it has some pretty bizarre humor in it, but I mean, overall, it's really enjoyable.
You got to go back after if you see it the first time, because you're like, what happened? What is all this about? But it's funny as hell.
And then a podcast too, Total Reboot, which is I thrive on Australian podcasts for some reason, and this is another one. It's basically just another pop culture podcast. They recently went through all the Star Wars movies and talked about why some of them are so terrible, and why they're culturally relevant and everything, and what makes the good movies good as opposed to the prequel trilogy. But that's another conversation for another day.
Yes, when you have the Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, that'll come back too.
Yeah.
Before we close things out, I poured some of the Wilderness Trail for everybody to try, and I'm curious to see what you all think on it. Now, if you haven't listened to our full review of the Wilderness Trail Bottled and Bond, this is a wheated Bottled and Bond bourbon. And this is also their first release from their distillery, their first bourbon release, too. You like? No? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm on the fence here.
Yeah?
Did they age state this or no?
So it's
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be
It's
at
definitely
least
4 years, right?
Yeah.
But is it
Yeah.
it's probably not much
right
older,
at
I
4
would-
No,
years?
yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's too much older.
Yeah.
It hasn't opened up as well as I would like for it to
You
have.
needed to open up a little bit more.
Well,
It's okay.
like as a fresh crack, it was really good.
Yeah. Which is odd because usually
It's the other way around.
it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it tastes kind of young.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. The
Yeah.
nose smells just like cooked mash.
Mhm.
We were walking through there earlier.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. I love it.
Which is still on my shirt.
This reminds
Yeah, it's
me-
still lingering around.
Dragons.
Have you had the Hudson Baby bourbon?
I've not, no.
The nose is identical.
Really?
Yeah.
It smells like buttered popcorn.
Yeah.
It sort of tastes like that.
It kind of tastes like that too on the finish. Yeah. It's not my favorite thing I've ever had, but I still
It's worth a try,
I
though.
still like it.
No, I like it a lot.
Their first release, I mean,
Yeah. That's what we were saying too, is that for a
Yeah.
first release,
yeah.
And it was priced reasonably, right?
it was $50.
$50. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they have really good things coming.
A lot of potential.
We all pretty much agreed on that fact.
Right.
But I don't know. It gets better the more you drink it, I think. After a couple of sips, you're like, yeah, this is actually pretty decent.
You have 7 or 8 pours of other things. Everything's going to
I mean, it doesn't matter by then. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what they continue to do.
I agree. I need to try
Promising.
their rye as well. Apparently, their rye's pretty good. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to wrap up the show here. Chris and Bryan, thank you all so much for being on the show and coming all the way up to Kentucky.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a
Thanks
great
for having
time.
us, yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having
It's
us.
been a lot of fun.
Thanks for including us today.
Oh yeah,
We really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It was,
Great.
there was
It
a lot
good
of fun
time.
this morning.
Yeah, it really was a good time.
If people want to follow you on social media, where can they do that?
So I would say for our local whiskey society, Carolina Whiskey Society on Instagram and Carolina Whiskey on Twitter. And for myself, KCLynn49 on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, and for me, it's BD Emery 49 on Instagram, but I've maybe posted personally 5 times in the history of my Instagram account, so probably follow our whiskey group. That's where all the action is.
Go 49ers, hence the 49 on the end.
Oh,
of the
okay.
front,
Yeah.
yes.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Dad?
Hold on.
I actually had to write mine down too. I cheated earlier.
Well, I'm pretty sure that
You're at JD Ritter.
no, I know I'm
2,
at JD Ritter 2
on Twitter.
On Twitter,
and I think you're Ritter 5 on Instagram.
I am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I answered for you.
I'm Ritter 5 on Instagram and JD Ritter 2 on the Twitter.
Twitter.
And,
the Twitter.
Jeez.
and as I always say, do not follow me unless you know me on Facebook. I will not follow you back. There's too many creepies out there, and I don't want you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way.
If you want to follow my personal accounts, I am at pritter1492 pretty much across the board. If you want to follow the show, we are at My Bourbon Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also find our apparel at bourbonshop.threadless.com. And then if you want to become a patron of the show, you can head to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. You can keep us going. We
As
really
the dad
appreciate
says,
that.
please do that, okay?
Yeah.
Help the kid out.
Do it.
Leave us a 5-star rating review on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen. And keep counteracting those 1 and 2-star reviews with no feedback.
Are you still getting crappy reviews?
No, we just have we still have those lingering ones where there's it still affects our rating. Like we just want people to go in and
Yeah, if you're going to do it, be constructive.
yeah, exactly. If you don't like what we're doing, tell us why, and we'll cater to you, I guess. So
We'll do our
this is my
best to cater to you.
this is my wine podcast now. Apparently, yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. Next week, I believe we're going to have Curtis and Tanner back on. Might be Chad and Sarah. Don't know. Be on the lookout for that on social media. But until then, we appreciate y'all listening. I'm Perry, and this is my Bourbon Podcast.
Take care.
Out.
Thanks.
Hey.